What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. My name is Eric, or Nomad Eric, or Nomad, whichever you want to call me. Welcome to the Nomad YouTube channel. We are here to review Wrestlepalooza. I swear, for those of y'all that follow me for gaming content, at some point I will be uploading more of that. I don't know when at this point, but right now it's a lot of wrestling, and we're gonna review Wrestlepalooza. Now, as far as the actual show goes, my review or my overall feelings on the show, which I will get to at the end, so stay tuned for that, are not going to match my match ratings, if that makes sense. You'll see that my match ratings are going to be relatively high, minus the opening match, but my actual overall view of the actual PLE are going to be rather negative, and I'll explain why. I think that I have a very good reasoning for feeling the way I do. Overall, about how this was mostly because of how this was hyped. But we'll get to that in a second. We're obviously going to start, well, as soon as I can hit the right button, with our review here. We have Tom's ratings above us. Kane is, once again, didn't get to, I don't know if he actually watched it. I think he's kind of taken a little bit of a break from the wrestling, which makes sense. They've made a couple of decisions he doesn't like, so he's taking a break from it. I respect it. So I've got Tom's ratings above me once again. Again, as you guys recall, during the last PLE, Clash in Paris, that was Tom's first ever PLE watched live ever. So he's back with a second one here. He's been watching weekly to warm up for this and kind of actually get into all the stories a little bit more than he was. So really happy to see what he thinks about this one. And then over there we have Vic, Rob, and my buddy Meatloaf over on Twitch and Twitter. I will post his links down below. Giving me some ratings as well today. And as you can tell, there are a couple here with a very wide variety. Extremely with that Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth and Becky match. There's a huge swing on that one. Actually, there's really just one outlier, and that's Meatloaf. But we'll get into that again. We're going to start things off with the opening match, which is Cena versus Brock Lesnar. I'm going to have the lowest rating on this one. I gave this match a 4. I thought this match was pointless. Here's my issue with it. I am not upset about a Brock Lesnar versus Cena match. I'm not. Matter of fact, I thought that this match could have been very impressive. I thought that there was a chance for a decent bout, and then Brock Lesnar can go away. Because I don't like Brock Lesnar. I've actually never liked Brock Lesnar. If you've tuned into the WrestleMania reviews we did, I was very vocal about never being a fan of Brock Lesnar. I've always thought he was overrated. He's a really big body, and he's a very convincing monster, but his matches are always fucking boring. They have to have some crazy stipulation for them to even be remotely interesting, and then sometimes he phones those in. So I've never been, if anyone remembers the fucking Extreme Rules match against Dean Ambrose, for example. I've never been a fan. I was really hoping that he would prove me wrong. I was really hoping that we would get a really good back and forth between Cena and Brock. And instead we get a squash match. We've already seen this storyline. We've already seen Brock squash Cena and Cena come back and get his lick back later on. We've already seen this story 11 years ago. This is, yes, I understand that a lot of this retirement tour has been a nostalgia run, but at the same time, this is not the nostalgia run that we needed. I fucking hated this. I absolutely thought it was trash. I gave it, like I said, I gave it a 4. It wasn't a good back and forth. It wasn't a good story. It wasn't a story that we needed. I didn't like it. As you can tell, a little bit varying opinions on this one in terms of exactly how bad or good it was. And you can really tell who dissects these things a little bit differently. We have Tom above me saying Cena versus Brock, a.k.a. Cena stomping. He gave it a C. He gave it a 5 out of 10. Expected a long, drawn-out fight. But Lesnar just comes out and murders a man like he has been doing every Friday night for the past month. I agree. Where are we going from here? Like, is Brock Lesnar going to be like a full-time wrestler and now he's the big bad guy again? I don't want that. If that's what they're going with, I don't want it. Vic gave it a B. I guess he enjoyed it a little bit more, I guess, for the story and the future aspects of it. You know that Cena's going to get his lick back at Crown Jewel, but that means we've just used 2 of his very limited matches on Brock Lesnar, and that pisses me off. Rob gave it a C as well. He gave it a 5. And then Meatloaf is kind of in my ballpark with the 4.5. Overall, the match is going to get a 5.1. So it is going to end up being a 5, a straight mid match. Really depends on what you want. If you're like me and you're upset that they wasted a retirement match on a squash, if also like me, I don't think Brock Lesnar should be back in the WWE. He is still in that Janelle Grant case. Whether you think that's good or not, or valid or not, is a completely different discussion. But the fact of the matter is, he's still mentioned in it, and until he's proven innocent, I don't see how he's here. I'm waiting for Vince McMahon to walk back in the door at this point. But anyway, overall, 5 out of 10. We move on to a match that I actually had really high hopes for. A match that I actually enjoyed. We have the Usos finally reunited back again against the Vision with the Braun Brawns, if you will. I love this match. I thought this match was absolutely fantastic. I thought this match was rolling. I thought this match was exciting. I thought this match actually had a great back and forth. And then it ended probably a little bit earlier than it should have because Jey Uso bounced a chair off his own skull, which I guess that's not entirely respectful to Jey Uso. Braun Breaker was rising when he hit him. I think Braun was expecting the chair to hit sooner, or maybe Braun wasn't expecting Uso's head to be so close. But when Braun Breaker goes up, that's when the chair comes down and it bounces off, and it basically connects with both of them at the same time, and it busts his head open. Clear concussion. I think he's in concussion protocol. He's not expected to be at Raw tonight, I don't think, anyway. But yeah, I thought it was a fantastic match that was unfortunately hurt a little bit by an unfortunate finish. As you can see, Tom said Usos versus the Vision, he gave it a B. Good fight. Could have been better. The body slam into the pin at the end was a rough way to go out for the Usos. I did like the finish as far as throwing him into the table and everything like that. Throwing Jimmy in and then him beating Jay. But again, I'm very curious if that was the actual initial finish. I gave this match an 8 out of 10 because I was still thoroughly impressed. I was still thoroughly entertained for everything up to the finish. As you can see over there, we have Vic giving us an 8 out of 10 as well. We have Rob giving it a 7.5. I'll count 0.5s for now. And then we also have Meatloaf giving this match an 8. So overall, this match is going to be a 7.7. That 7.7 is going to get it to bump up to an 8 because we don't do the points on here. So it's going to round up to an 8. Again, it seemed to be a common understanding there. We all kind of have it as a B at the very least. So great spot for it, and unfortunate finish. I'm hoping that they can kind of maybe run it back, but I don't know. Maybe we're good on it. Next up, we have, in my opinion, the match of the night. We have Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky. Now, listen, there has been no secret that I am an Io Sky super fan. I have slowly been becoming more and more of a super fan, and now Io Sky is probably my favorite wrestler in the entire company. That woman should be a champion forever, but I understand that it cannot happen that way. And Stephanie Vaquer is fucking phenomenal. She is so good at everything she does. She looks great doing it. And that's not just me talking about her appearance like everyone else likes to do. She is just a genuinely fantastic wrestler. There was almost no notes on this match for me. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. I thought it was fantastic. Io Sky has not put on a bad match this year. As a matter of fact, I don't think Io Sky has put on a match that I would rank below a 9. Even as far as TV matches go. Her matches against Roxanne Perez on Raw was fucking amazing. Her match against Stephanie Vaquer on Raw that ended in disqualification when everyone came out. Fantastic up until the disqualification. Io Sky has not missed at all this entire calendar year. Absolutely my wrestler of the year, and that's not just me saying that as a fan. If you look back at her entire repertoire for this entire for this entire calendar year, you can make the case that she is wrestler of the year. I mean, the stories have been okay to great, but the wrestling, the actual content, the actual matches have all been 5 stars. They've been absolutely excellent. I gave this match a 10 out of 10. I loved every single bit of it. Tom gave it an A as well. This was an epic battle. Both women were hurting by the end. Both had insane moments. A shame that only one could win. He gave this match an A. I'm going to assume that's a 10. And then Vic gave this match an A+++. I'm going to break my scale here. I'm going to give it an 11. A 10 is the max, but I also see a little 9.9 sneaking over on the side there, so I'm going to make that 11 make up for that. No, even if I give it a 10, the fact that that Rob also gave it an A, the 9.5, it's not going to drop it down below a 9.5. So this is going to end up being a 10 match, which God, this PLE needed it bad. This PLE needed it fucking bad. Next up, we're going to go into probably one of the more controversial matches on the card. Not so much controversial, but I guess polarizing. It seems like you either really, really, really loved AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Seth and Becky, or you really fucking hated it. Personally, I loved it. I thought this match was great. You could definitely tell the ring rust a little bit with AJ Lee. It's been 10 years since she's had a match. You can see the ring rust was there, but you can also see that everyone took very good care of her until she got her legs back underneath her. I thought the Seth Rollins tripping her up, which led to the sharpshooter on Becky, which led to Becky putting CM Punk in the sharpshooter, Seth Rollins trying to pin CM Punk, and then AJ Lee stomping him. Absolutely excellent. A perfect way to do a mixed gender match with the right people in place to do it. I thought this was excellent. I'm really glad with the finish. I'm really glad with the win. Ultimately speaking, I again, absolutely love this match. I gave this match a 9 out of 10. Tom, he decided to return Vic's A+++ and gave it an A++++. Hands down, the best thing I've watched in a very long time. The drama, the close calls, the turnaround at the very last minute. I was extremely invested for the entire fight. 10 out of 10, no notes. I can't disagree with him. I think this match was absolutely perfect in terms of everything. Again, the ring rust, again, was apparent, so I don't know if I can give this match a 10. I think a 9 is probably where I'm going to stick with this match. As you can see, Rob also gave this match 9 out of 10 over there. We have 8 out of 10 for Vic. I'm sorry, Vic gave this match an A. Rob gave this an 8 out of 10. And then you have Meatloaf giving this match a 7. An 8.6 is going to be the average here, so it's going to end up getting moved to that 9. So still an A-ranked match overall amongst all of our opinions. Would be very curious why Meatloaf gave this a 7, maybe because of the ring rust. But I didn't get he didn't actually give me his true opinions on anything outside of Brock versus Cena. That he just wasn't a big fan of Brock Lesnar once again killing Super Cena, but who was really? And finally, we have the main event of the night. We have Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. Now, I loved this match on paper. I actually really loved the fucking build to this match. I got to see part of it live when I went to go see Friday Night SmackDown in Norfolk. So I was really invested in this match, and I left feeling a little underwhelmed. It wasn't bad by any means, but these two always put on good matches. I expected a little bit more of the two of them against each other with the build that we had. I liked the finish. His rage getting the better of him, him kicking his leg through the table, his injuring himself, making it so he can't hit the Claymore at the end. I liked the finish. It was a very creative finish. It was a very fun finish. But I just left wanting more from this match overall. I know these two can put on a better one. I would like to see them run it back to some extent. Maybe this is where War Games gets led into after Crown Jewel in 3 weeks. But ultimately, I just left feeling a little bit down over this match. So originally I was going to give this match an 8. I think I'm going to downgrade to a 7. It's still a good match because, again, the match wasn't bad. Just underwhelming. I expected a lot more. I expected bigger drama. I expected bigger suspenseful moments. And instead I got a a good match between two good wrestlers that had a creative finish. And I expected a little bit more from this match, given how hyped this entire PLE was. No surprise at all at the end. No one coming out. No one getting involved. This was the match to have some shenanigans, and they didn't pull the trigger on that. So it was a little bit disappointing for me. Tom gave this match a B+. Good fight. They did a good job translating Drew's frustration of the match. He got too out of control at times, didn't bring his leg, and that's why he lost. So he gave his match a B+, an 8 out of 10. We have another 8 out of 10 by Vic over there. We have a 6 out of 10 by Rob, and then we have a 7.5 by Meatloaf. So it's going to be a 7.3. It's going to end up averaging out to that 7, which is, again, where I put it. So, again, it wasn't a bad match by any means. Just a lot that could have been better. A lot to be desired from the overall match. Now, you might look at this, a 10, 9, 8, 7, and then, of course, the 5 that we just aren't going to talk about ever again, and say, wow, this PLE must have been fantastic. But no, I left this event underwhelmed, which is, again, I have been a huge, some people might even say a simp, or even what's the word? I can't think of the word for it right now. Simp's not the right word. I can't think of the word. You guys can probably fucking mention in the comments, whatever. But I've been a huge proponent for WWE. I have sung their praises when the internet shits on them. I've disagreed with the IWC on a lot that they've been saying about the show as a whole. I can't disagree with them. Even ESPN. This was the first PLE on ESPN, and even ESPN said this is kind of meh. It's a C. Because it was underwhelming. When you hype, Triple H has got to fucking stop overhyping shit. Like, he's doing it with Vegas, with WrestleMania 41 or 42 being in Vegas again. Oh, it was such a great event, we're going to run it back. No, because it wasn't that great. It's been relatively, not panned, because some of the matches were good, but it was not this elaborate, amazing, insanely great thing. Triple H has got to pull his fucking head out of his ass at some point here. Because this event could have been so much better. You could have gotten back in everyone's good graces. You could have gotten a huge proponent from ESPN here with a lot of new wrestlers. Obviously, Tom's been loving it. Tom's a new face. He's a new watcher. Tom's been enjoying it. But for the ones that have been watching this for so long, I have a lot higher expectations for Triple H's storytelling, and it's falling flat right now. The surprises aren't there. The suspense isn't there. The matches have been great. They've been excellent. But the thing is, we don't watch WWE specifically for the matches. We watch it for the story. We watch it for the characters. We watch it for what happens next. The matches should be good, but that's not why we watch WWE. If all I wanted was a good match with shitty story, I'd watch AEW. But I'm not, because that's not what I want. I don't know. I think this fell flat a little bit. They have a huge fucking hole to dig themselves out of for Crown Jewel and the War Games before this season ends and we get into WrestleMania season with the Royal Rumble in February and January. But ultimately, I left this with I don't want to say a sour taste in my mouth, because again, as you can tell, we like the matches. The matches were good, with the exception of the one that everyone hates. But overall, I felt that there was something major missing from this show. Some surprise, some twist, someone coming out, even if all of the finishes stay the same and Gunther comes out or Paige comes out during, but again, I guess you can't really count on a comeback because they have to get signed and they have to want to come back and yada, yada, yada. But Ilya supposedly cleared. Where the fuck's he at, man? Just show him. Just show him backstage or something. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more they could have done with this show. I'm eager to see what happens on Raw in 15 minutes. Obviously, that'll have already happened by the time this goes up. But I don't know, man. This is for the first time, I feel like, in this entire year, I actually agree with the IWC. I know it might snow tonight, but I actually agree with the IWC on something. I think this show was an underwhelming disappointment from an overall standpoint. Matches were great. Story was lacking. suspense and what you hyped this up to be, it didn't deliver. That's kind of where I'm at on it. I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments, and I will see you all next time. Peace.